Hi teachers! We meet again in Total Learning and Development TLD 302. So for this TLD 302, you also will learn about child psychology and development. But just now, you already learned about the aspect of language. For TLD 302, we will learn child psychology and development in the aspect of physical. So this is the objective of TLD 302 course. Okay, so this course will help you to facilitate children growth and fine motor development. You will get to know about this, and also you will learn about moving, okay, on how to demonstrate basic gross motor skills and demonstrate basic fine motor skills. So what is the picture of this? This is the picture of a children, of a kids with his teacher. Okay, so here, okay, these kids, these children, okay, this child, he hold a measuring tape. So what he want to do with this measuring tape? Oh, okay. So actually, he want to measure the heights. Okay. Am I big like you yet? So this kid is measuring this his height with his teacher's height. Okay. So he want to know that am I still big like you, teacher? Okay. So this physical development in childhood, okay, may include like height, weight, and so on. So this is the picture of example of the physical development. Okay, so this picture, okay, resembles the physical development of height. Now, okay, what you can see, the silhouette, bayang-bayang. So this is the normal stages of child development, okay? Since they are newly born, birth to 5 years old, okay? You can see, okay, how they start to crawl, how they start to sit, how they start to bounce a ball, how they start to hop, okay? And how they start to pose. Okay, so this is the picture of pose. So this is the normal stages of child development. Okay, here are the stages of child development, okay, from birth to 12 months. Okay, so for each year, okay, so for each year, each month, they have a different physical and language, different emotional and different social that they generated. Okay, you also have to know, okay, you also have to know what are their physical and language, what are their emotional, and what are their social, okay, during this age. Okay, so for birth to month, okay, birth to 1 month, you have to feed them 5 to 8 per day. Okay, they also have to sleep 20 hours per day, and also they will have basic distinction in sensory capacity. So for emotional, they more to generalized tension. Social, they are helpless. Okay, they are helpless and fed by mother. When they already reach 2 months to 3 months, okay, they more their sensory capacity is more to color perception, visual exploration, and oral exploration. Okay, usually in this age, they will cry, coos, and grunts. Okay, and their motor ability more to control of eye muscle, lips, head when on stomach, and they will show a delight. So for emotional, at this time, usually they will be stressed, okay? For social, okay, you have to make them smile at the face, visually fixated at the face. Smile at the face may be soothed by walking. How about the age of 4 months to 6 months? So for this age, okay, they usually localizes sound. Just now, they try to explore the color, the visual, the oral. So during this age, they will recognize sound. Okay, sound that they will make in this age like babbling. Ba 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 ba. Da 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 da. Okay, makes most vowels and about half of the consonant. Feedings, you have to feed them 3 to 5 per day. And their motor ability at the time is control head and arm movement, purposive grasping, and rolls over. Okay, so cute, right? Enjoys being cuddled. Okay, so for this age, they will recognize mother. They will distinguish between family person and strangers. Okay, usually some baby, they will cry if they meet stranger. But some baby is very friendly. They didn't cry at all. Okay. No longer smiles indiscriminately. Yeah, this is what I mean. Expects feeding, dressing, and bathing. Okay. How about 7 months to 9 months? So during this age, they will have control of trunk and hands, sits without support, and crawls about. Okay, they will start to crawl. Specific emotional attachment to mother. Okay, and for social, they will protest separation from mother. And for this age, they really enjoy peekaboo, like peekaboo. Okay, like that. Okay, and then go to 10 months to 12 months. Okay, their motor ability is more to control of legs and feet, stance, grip, a position of thumb and forefinger. Okay, and then in this age, they say 1 or 2 words, imitate sound, respond to simple commands. Okay, for feeding, they need to feed 3 meals, 3 meals and 2 snacks. Sleep 12 hours and 2 naps. And they will, at this time, they will start to show anger. Okay, anger. Okay, so here for emotional, they will have affection, fear of strangers, curiosity, and exploration. Okay, so here, okay, in social, they will responsive to own name. They will already recognize their name. Okay, and then they will learn. They will already know to wave bye bye, bye bye. Usually the baby will be like this, right? Like this or like this, right? Okay. Sometimes they will give a kiss. Wah, wah. Okay. And then place pet a cake. Understand no, and gives and takes object. I hope this will really help teachers to understand your children when you already in the classroom. How about 1 year to 5 years? Okay, so for 1 year to 1.5 years, they already know to creeps upstairs, walks around 10 to 20 minutes, make lines on paper with crayon, and have dependent behavior. Emotional, they will feel very upset when separated from mother, fear of bath. And for social, obeys limited commands, repeats a few words, interested in his mirror image, and also feeds himself. Okay. And then for 1.5 years to 2 years, they already know on how to run, how to kick a ball, how to build 6 cube tower for 2 years. Okay, usually we will give them Lego, okay, and also they will have their imagination in arranging pillows, okay? They also capable of bowel and bladder control. And for vocabulary, they will have more than 200 words. They will sleep 12 hours at night and have 1 to 2 hour nap. Okay. At this year, they will have temper tantrums. Okay. At 1 to 3 years. For social, they will have resentment of new baby, okay? And that's opposite of what he is told. When they already reach 2 years to 3 years, they already know how to jump off a step, how to ride a tricycle, use crayon, and others, okay? Start to use short sentences, controls, and explore words with language. Stuttering may appear briefly and fear of separation. For emotional, they will have a negativistic, okay, violent emotion, anger, differentiates facial expression of anger, sorrow and joy, sense of humor, plays trick. Okay, so for social, they will start to talk. Uses I, me, you. Usually they will copy parent action. Okay. Dependent, clinging, possessive about toys, enjoys, playing alongside another child. Okay. Have a negativism at 2.5 years, resists parental demands, gives orders, rigid insistence on sameness of routine, and inability to make decision. When they already reach 3 years to 4 years, they will have know on how to stand on one leg, jumps up and down, draws a circle and a cross. Okay. And then for emotional, they will have a self-sufficient in many routines of home life. They will affectionate toward parent and pleasure in genital manipulation. Okay, have a romantic attachment to parent of opposite sex. Okay, during 3 to 5 years, they have jealousy of same-sex parent, imaginary fears of dark, injury, and etc. Okay, so for social, usually in this age, they like to share, uses we cooperative play with children, nursery schools, they will tend to imitate parents, okay? Beginning of identification with same-sex parent, practices sexual activities, okay? Intense curiosity and interest in other children's bodies and have a imaginary friend. Okay, so for this part, okay, I resemble back when I was a kid in these 3 years to 4 years. Okay, I also have my imaginary friend. Okay, I have a high imagination. But this imaginary friend is not in a negative way. I mean, sixth sense. No, not at all. Imaginary friend is like, she imagine that she is talking to someone in the situation. Okay, like for example, during my early childhood, when I was 3 to 4 years old, okay, I like to wear my mom high heels, okay, because she is a teacher and she have a collection of high heel and the size of her feet is small, so really fits my feet lah. Okay, so I like to watch a video like in airport, okay, and then I will be interested to the woman who are in airport, the Vogue woman wear shawl, wear skirts, okay, and then wear a muffler, and then brings a large bag together, the bagasi, right? Okay, so I sometimes when my mom or nobody is around in the living room, so I will have imagination of doing like that. And I will imagine that I will have friend, I'll talk to friend, but actually nobody was there. Okay, so that is imaginary friend. Okay, so when they go to 4 years to 5 years, okay, they more to mature, motor control, skips, road jumps, dresses himself. Okay, they already know on how to dresses himself, copies a square and a triangle. For language, they can talk clearly, uses adult speech sounds, has mastered basic grammar, relates a story, knows over 2,000 words, and they have responsibility and guilt feels pride in accomplishment. For socials, prefer to play with other children, becomes competitive and prefers sex appropriate activities. Okay, so here are the stages of development. Okay, the stages of development. Okay, from newborn to school age. Start from 0 to 5 years old. So here you can see, okay, the stages of development consist of newborn, supine infant, sitting infant, mobile toddler, communicating child, and school age. And this is their action of development. Age of looking and respond at 1 to 2 months. Okay, during 3 to 9 months is the age of attack and purpose. Okay, 6 to 12 months is threshold of understanding, and so on. Okay, so you have so you can take a look of these stages of development. Okay, so now we will go into the normal stages of child development from birth to 5 years. This is the growth patterns, okay? Now we go into the growth patterns. So growth patterns can be include height and weight, okay? Height and weight. So height and weight will increase rapidly, but less rapidly than in infancy. Okay, have a cephalocaudal trend changes to be more adult-like proportion. So the cephalocaudal trend is also the trend of infant learning to use their upper limbs before their lower limbs. The proximodistal trend, on the other hand, is the prenatal growth from 5 months to birth when the fetus grows from the inside of the body outwards. As middle childhood is reached, rate of growth slows until adolescent. Now we go into growth and nutrition. Okay, so this is the picture that resembles of how much protein, how much nutrition your kids should have. Okay, so this I grab it from the source of nutrition sites. Okay, how much protein should my child get every day? The top 20 protein-rich food, and also what is the food for strong bones. Okay, for this, we have our medical talk with Dr. Tan. Okay, for every Thursday and Friday. Okay, about the anything. And then during this time, she talk about growth and nutrition. So here are the explanation, the example of what she recommends, okay, for your children to take a balanced diet, and the proportion of protein that they should take, okay, that they should take for their age. Okay, so now we go into the nutrition. Okay, so the nutrition can be divided into several components. First, we go to protein. So for protein, we have amino acid. Okay, we have amino acid. Large proportion of our cell, muscle, and tissue is made up of amino acid. In our body, we have amino acid. Okay, meaning they carry out many important bodily functions, such as giving cells their structure. They also plays a key role in the transport and the storage of nutrients. So amino acid will store nutrients and support the growth. Okay, and then they also need carbohydrate. Carbohydrate will provide energy for muscle activity and also generate heat and support brain functioning. Okay, for fat, okay, they also need to have a fat. Okay, fat is temperature control, but high level of fat will link to heart disease. Okay, have to be a proper control, and also fat is related to the cholesterol produced by our body. Okay, and then we also have minerals and vitamin. So for minerals and vitamin is required for bone growth and deficit linked to physical and mental problems. Okay, so now we go into how much calorie intake for your kids. Okay, for your kids. So must be some of you questioning how much my kid have to take calorie. Okay, so for child 2 to 3 years old, they should have to take 1,000 calories to 1,000 calories for sedentary and 1,400 calories for active. Okay, female 4 to 8 years old, 1,200 calories sedentary to 1,800 calories active, and for male 4 to 8 years old, 1,400 calories sedentary to 2,000 calories active. And then we also have malnutrition. Malnutrition is a nutrition problem. Okay, we call it as malnutrition. So malnutrition is divided into two, that are undernourished and malnourished. Okay, so for undernourished is lower than necessary calorie intake, and malnourished is inappropriate nutritional categories. Means that undernourished is kita ambil bilangan kalori yang kurang daripada kalori yang patut kids kita ambil, and therefore malnourished is we have inappropriate nutritional categories, means maybe more to excess levels of any components of the nutrition that we learned just now. For example, like fats, cholesterol, okay, and so on. Okay, so what is the impact of malnutrition during early childhood? Okay, so for malnutrition in infancy, okay, they will leads to increased emotional responses to stress and lowered threshold of arousal. Okay, and they will have nutritional supplementary programs most effective in early childhood, and recipient of supplements were more active, more talkative, and less time crying. Okay, they also will have specific deficiencies, okay, that related to the malnutrition. So here the specific deficiencies related to the iodine and iron. Okay, so for iodine, okay, retardation of cognitive capacity or physical growth, particularly during pregnancy, will cause a Kyrgyz case. So lack of iodine will cause retardation. Okay. How about lack of iron? So lack of iron will leads to lower levels of performance on infant psychological tests, lower IQ scores among young children. Okay. For example, like prenatal anemia among Kyrgyz women. Okay, so this is the human brain. Okay, human brain. So for human brain of kids, okay, they have 3 types of brain here. Okay, the rational brain, the mammalian brain, and also the reptilian brain. Okay, how to know? How to know the components of the rational brain, the mammalian brain, and the reptilian brain? So let's check it out. Okay, so for children 3 brains, okay, consists of 3 types of brain: rational brain, mammalian brain, and reptilian brain. Okay, so for rational brain, also known as higher brain, okay, frontal lobes, neocortex. Its function is leads to creativity and imagination, problem solving, reasoning and reflection, self-awareness, kindness, empathy, and concern. For mammalian brain, okay, also known as emotional brain, middle brain, or limbic system. It involves angry, fear, separation distress, especially if you separate them for their mom for a while. Okay, caring and nurturing, social bonding, and playfulness. Okay, reptilian brain. Reptilian brain is a lower brain. So it activates instinctive behavior related to survival and controls essential bodily function required for sustaining life. Okay, for example, like hunger, breathing, digestion, circulation, movement, posture, and balance. So this is the human brain development of 3-year-old children. So here is the difference between normal brain and extreme neglect brain. Okay, this is we call as a CT scan image. Okay, a CT scan image. So this is the image of the brain of healthy 3-year-old with an average head size, and this is the image on the 3-year-old child that suffer from severe sensory deprivation neglect. Okay, so as you can see, there is a difference between the different size between normal brain and extreme neglect brain, right? So for extreme neglect is smaller than the size of a normal one. So this shows that this is why we have to let our children develop, okay, in a healthy way. And the other method that we want to develop in a healthy way is we have to take care of their nutrition. The human brain. So for human brain composed of more than 100 billion neurons and approximately 1,000 trillion synaptic connection. Okay, in our brain, we have neuron. So for neuron are nerve cells that transmit nerve signals to and from the brain at up to 200 mph. The neuron consists of a cell body or soma with branching dendrites. Dendrites can be known as signal receivers, and a projection called axon, okay, which conduct the nerve signal. At the other end of the axon terminals transmit the electrochemical signal across a synapse, the gap between the axon terminal and the receiving cell. So this is the image of a neuron. here you can see, okay, the dendrites, or can be known as receivers, the cell body, and then the axon. So this is the axon. Axon is the transmitter, okay, and this is the conducting fiber, okay, and this is a part of neuron in the brain. Okay, so synapse activity is very crucial to survival and learning, as the brain's neuron receive input from the environment, so they can create a new synapse and allowing increasing complex communication. Okay, so in synaptic pruning, the brain disposes of a neuron's axon and dendrites if the particular neuron is not often stimulated. These activities are to increase the speed, efficiency, and complexity of transmission between neurons, allow room for new connection that develop as the child encounters new experience. So this is the synaptic connection between the two neurons. So just now you already see the one neuron, right? So as you can see, these are the two neurons. So we have sending neuron and receiving neuron. Okay, and how the synapse activity occurred. Okay, so these are the axon and these are how the synapse occurred. Okay, synaptic connection. This is how the synaptic connection between two neurons happens. Okay, so for in the synaptic nodes, okay, this is a synaptic nodes. So it can transmit messages through the nervous system. Okay, and then we go to the brain growth and development. Okay, so the brain growth and development is really important for children. Okay, so during their early childhood, their brain will have changes. Okay, in terms of increased rate of myelination, increased production of glial cells, okay, synaptic pruning, increase in mass of brain, and increase in circumference of the skull. Okay, so here is the experience and brain development. So each brain development have each experience have different brain development. Okay, first we go to the experience of expectant development. So here more to the readiness to learn based on genetics. Okay, so the readiness to learn is based on the genetic of the child. Okay, if the child is very smart, so the readiness to learn is very high. Okay, specific and specific readiness. So we have two fixed action patterns and action potential. Okay, and also sensitive periods prime for stimulation, more to special case of language. How about the second experience? So the second experience is dependent development. So this is more to neural pathways dependent on unique experience, okay, basis of individual differences, basis of unique skills. Pruning allows new pathways to mature, and fragile syndrome that negates pruning. Okay, so how much is enough for stimulation? So here is the picture of brain. So our brain, we have 4 types of lobe: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. So for each lobe have different components. For example, frontal lobe have frontal association area, speech, and motor cortex. Okay. For parietal lobe, we have somatosensory cortex, speech, taste, okay, somatosensory association area, and reading. For temporal lobe, we have smell, hearing, auditory association area, okay, and for occipital lobe, we have visual association area and vision. Okay, and then this is the brain lobes and development. So for each lobes have different development. Okay, have different development. Okay, so here we have 3 lobes. Okay, occipital. Occipital have a visual cortex develops early. For example, like face recognition. Okay, and then we have temporal. Temporal more to language learning. So it continues to develop each childhood. Okay, and then the third lobes is parietal. So for parietal, it's more to movement, orientation, recognition, and perception of stimuli, coordination with eye and head. How about frontal and hippocampus? So for frontal, it's more to reasoning, planning, parts of speech, movement, emotion, and problem solving. So usually this develops into young adulthood. And hippocampus, okay, more to memories, immaturity related to infantile amnesia. Okay, next we go to the motor development. Okay, motor development. So for the motor development is the development of child bones, okay, muscles and ability to move around and manipulate his or her environment. Motor development can be divided into 2 that are gross motor development and fine motor development. Okay, for gross motor skills, okay, it is the activity that involves the development of the large muscle in the child's body. For example, like runs, jump, okay, hop, throw, and catches and skip. Okay, like this picture, this is the picture of runs, hop, and so on. Okay, fine motor skills is an activity that involves the small muscles of the body, especially in the hand. For example, like drawing and writing. So this will facilitate the fine motor skills. How about gross motor skills? So for gross motor skills, use large body movements, okay? Normally involving the entire body. Okay, and then for 2 to 3 years old, they will develop a smoother gait, thus develop the ability to run, jump, and hop. 3 to 4 years old develop better upper body mobility, thus whole body coordination improve. For example, like climb upstairs, pedal, and steer a tricycle. Okay, so these are the example of the gross motor skills. So for fine motor skills, okay, it requires the greater precision and control. Usually 2 to 3 years old begin stacking blocks like Lego, or they do molding clay, scribbling, etc. Okay. To 3 to 4 years old, more accurately perform tasks such as writing letters with an adult-like grip, cutting with blunt scissors, open screw top containers, cause for caution, and etc. Okay, so this is the movement skill in early childhood. Okay. Okay, so this is the movement skills in early childhood for your reference. Okay, next we go to the motor development of locomotor, non-locomotor, and manipulative skill. For locomotor movement, is a movement that travel through space or carry weight from location to another. Okay, the non-locomotor movement is more to a movement that a person perform while remaining stationary. And for the manipulative skill, if a person handles an object with the hands, feet, or other body parts, it's a basic to the development of sport skills. Okay, so for locomotor skills, okay, the gait will become smoother, okay, and when do a stair climbing, so both feet brought to the same step before moving upward and downward. So this is the locomotor skills. And then eye hand and eye foot coordination will improve. Okay, running and jumping become easier. Balance will improve, and based on maturation, experience, and encouragement. So this is the locomotor movement. It consists of slide, step, walk, run, gallop, jump, leap, crab walk, hop, skip, and roll. How about non-locomotor skills? So for non-locomotor skills is a movement around a joint where two body parts meet. Okay, a sharp change of direction from original line of movement, such as away from a person or object. Extending or hyper-extending joints to make body parts as straight or as long as possible. Rotating body or body parts around an axis with a stationary base. Executing force to cause objects or people to move towards one body and increase flexibility. So this is the movement of the non-locomotor. Okay, so this includes like stretch, curl, pull, balance, bend, swing, turn, sway, and push. Okay, now we go to the manipulative skill. So for the manipulative skill, okay, it consists of the hand and finger strength, okay, and have hand-eye coordination. Consists of different components, okay, they got hand dominance, the constituent use of one hand for task performance, okay. Some kids have hand dominance of right hand, which allows to refine manipulation skill to develop. Okay, so focus on hand dominance. And then we have bilateral integration. So for this, using two hands together with one hand leading, like threading, okay, with a string with one hand, while the other helps by holding the bead. Postural control. So the postural control, the ability to stabilize the trunk and neck, okay, to enable coordination of the arm and hands for physical task performance. So this is manipulative skill. And the other one is body awareness, okay, or we call it as proprioception, okay. The information the brain receive from our muscle and joint to make us aware of body position and body movement that then guides future control movements. Okay, so this is the example of the manipulative skill. Okay, we have dribble, like feet, okay, dribble the ball, throw, toss, strike, kick, catch, dribble, hand, twirl, punt, and volley. Okay, so this require the components of skills that I told you before, like hand dominance, okay, and then bilateral integration, postural control, and so on. Okay, and now this locomotor, okay, this locomotor provide variety in movement. okay, variety in movement for your child development. So here you can see the chart, okay, the chart of the child movement. Okay, they have locomotor, non-locomotor, elements of movement, respond to rhythms and contrast of movement. So for the locomotor, for example, like rolling, crawling, creeping, and others. Non-locomotor like bending, twisting, turning, stretching, and others. And for the elements of movement, include sequences, expression, props, okay, respond to rhythm like Mozart's music, okay, Mozart music, classical, swing, tribal, ethnic, jazz, and so on. And contrast of the movement like hard, soft, strong, light, fast, slow, and so on. Okay, next is a perceptual development. So for the perceptual development allows a young human being to start interpreting and understanding sensory input. So we have 5 senses here: sight, okay, sight, touch, taste, smell, and hearing. Sight, touch, taste, smell, and hearing. Okay. So here, these are the physical activity for your young children. Okay, and you can do this activity with your children during your lesson, especially during 9 multiple intelligence activity. For example, like scavenger hunt, okay, climb over, dance, treasure hunt, and others. So this activity, if you're going through, is related to the 9 multiple intelligence that you already learned during COP class, right? We have the linguistic, we have the other 9 multiple intelligence that related to the activities. Okay, so you can choose the activity that related to the 9 multiple intelligence activities and implement and execute to your children. I hope this will facilitate your to help your children development. So that's all for TLD 302. I hope this will help you, okay? And see you in TLD 303 and 304. Bye!